You have to replace utility with fun. Instead of trying to go mass consumer, think about like who's the partner that can take you to the consumer, that you're making money in the process. I think right now it's a big need because everybody's trying to figure out, how do I make my event stand out? That's how you blow up the company.
Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Hi.
Welcome aboard, man.
Nice.
Tell us what you're about and then how can I help?
Thanks a lot. By the way, cheers. I'm sorry I cannot give you a drink, but I'm drinking hello.
There you go. I got this is now water, but this used to be coffee.
It's just to give you a super short context. Like a lot of other people, I'm an entrepreneur, and I developed basically a drink, a cocktail, and basically it's just you have a small pouch like that with all the fresh and natural ingredients. So basically it's a mojito with the non-alcoholic version, so the fresh lime juice, the fresh mint, the sugarcane, and you just pour it in a glass, put a bit of water and ice, and you have a fresh drink. And these last year I was working mainly with like bars, restaurants, and big festivals, parties, etc. And of course they were my main customers. And with the COVID-19 which arrived, I've been quite severely hit because all the festivals, all the events, everything has been cancelled for the whole year. I think it will be a long-term impact. Also the restaurant, we were still believing and that it will work but it is also quite severely impacted. It should go again in 2021, but not like a normal year. So now with this massive impact on our startup, which is quite small, we were thinking now of pivoting and developing the same product basically, but for the customers, the individual customers. I mean, you and me having a cocktail at home. So basically you have all the fresh ingredients in your freezer. Whenever you want to do a cocktail, just pour a bit of water and ice and a little bit of alcohol if you want to have an alcoholic version.
Yeah. So it's non-alcoholic, but you can add it.
No,
add your own in.
Exactly, it's not alcohol.
And why were restaurants buying single-serving packages from you?
Basically because it's super convenient and fast to do a cocktail. So normally they have to spend like 3 or 4 minutes to do a craft cocktail. With our cocktails, everything is already done, so they just need to add a bit of water and ice, and like in 30 seconds their cocktail is ready instead of spending 4 minutes. And on top of that, they're sure that the taste is always good, and the taste is really good. And unfortunately, I cannot make a tasting. It's only fresh and natural ingredients, and it's fast frozen, so you really keep the freshness of the product. And you also have even like entire piece of fruits inside and mint leaves, etc., to really give an impression. For restaurant, it really works, especially non-alcoholic, because there's not a lot of exciting variants. If you don't really drink alcohol, there's not a lot of exciting stuff in restaurants, except if they have the experienced personnel to really do it. But like, it requires experience to do a nice cocktail well done and time. That's why it works quite well.
So I think the shift is, if you want to go consumer, I think you can. I would still be looking partnerships. So just like restaurants, you sell to one restaurant and they buy hundreds of thousands of what you're selling, right? You're selling to one customer multiple units, and then on repeat, like they run out, they order more, they run out, they order more. Instead of trying to go direct to consumer, I'd still be looking partnerships. So who can you talk to who then could buy 1,000 of these things? But you have to replace utility with fun now.
Yeah.
The value to restaurants is utility. Like, it just saves you time. It's high quality ingredients. You don't have to hire a staff who knows how to mix cocktails. Here it is, all for you, done. Utility. This is now fun.
Yeah, really what I was like you say exactly. We had a product which was more in utility, a technical product which was resolving a special solution. But for individuals, we need to really develop something which is fun and create a brand which is powerful and then people want to buy. And that's one of the questions I had, is like, what advice will you give us to pivot to have an exciting brand for the individual customers?
So again, I think about partnerships. I think about who can you talk to who can help you sell 500, 1,000 units instead of trying to sell one at a time. Yeah. The thing that comes to mind immediately for me is all the events that are happening virtual right now. and they're shipping boxes out to people. So, Tony Robbins has his UPW, Unleash the Power Within, and for all these events that are happening, they ship a box. And in the box are these little things, because it's all Zoom calls, right? So there's a little door hanger for your door to say, in session. There's a T-shirt they give you. There's these little signs that you can hold up with a heart. So if you like something, you can show it up on the screen. There's your workbook. There's a bunch of things to get people ready for the event. That could include your mix. All of these events, especially the networking ones, or have a networking component to it, have typically in the offline world, when they meet up, they would have mixers. They would have networking mixers, get to know the other people who are here. You could now have them still have a networking mixer by sending them your drink.
There's it's feasible, but there's always the challenge is like our product is frozen, so it's both an advantage and a challenge. The advantage is that it really keeps the freshness of the product. Challenge is that we cannot really just send it by post, but there's a solution that we can figure out, like using dry ice, and others depends on which. For some it will work, some others it will not work, but at least it will give visibility to the people who receives it, even if it's not like. Makes us money. At least people will try the product and know about it, and would like to buy it later on in supermarkets, for examples.
Yeah, I think you need to figure out a non-frozen version of it.
There could be also like develop another product.
Well, just a variation of your current product. It doesn't have to be totally outside the spectrum. But I think that, and still moving from utility to fun. Like most of these companies are not doing anything right now. They've just eliminated the mixer from their program. But now you can give them an opportunity to have a mixer back in. But you'd have to send them, 5,000 versions of it that then they could put in their boxes.
And would you have an advice, like if we later on want to make it sexy to the customers, to individual customers, because it's a product which is like kind of a new habit. People are not used to find a cocktail in a freezer, basically, when they go to the supermarket. So we need to change the habits of people and make it enter in their habits. I don't know if you will have any advice of like how to make it appealing, to stand out, and to make it people wanted to buy and come into their habits.
By getting it to them, right? The difference with the restaurant is nobody knows if they're ordering at the restaurant, nobody knows that it's a mix.
Yeah, indeed, that's a problem.
Well, it's a pro and a con. Like, it's great for the restaurants, but you're the secret weapon for the restaurant.
Yeah.
When the customer gets it, they just get the beautiful drink that you've got in front of you, right? They think that the restaurant made this and what high quality. They don't know that it's coming from you. When you partner up with somebody who is buying 1,000 units to put in their boxes for their events, it brings value to the event to say, hey, you can have this mixer now, and there's a non-alcoholic, like it's for everybody. You can add some alcohol on your own if you want from your home, but this can go out to everybody. But then people will get this in the box and they say, oh, this came from Tony Robbins. Okay. What is this thing? What is this company? Who's selling these things? And you're getting them to actually experience it. It's like, wow, this tastes better than I could make myself. This is great. And then they say, well, who is making this, right? And somewhere on the package is your company name. They go and find it. Example, at Tony's recent Date with Destiny program, he had Nick Ortner come on, who does tapping. I don't know if you know tapping. It's like you tap on the meridian points and whatever, and it gets rid of anxiety and stress. And he's got an app for tapping. So he guided people through how to do it. He did like a 30-minute tapping session and then gave everybody 6 months access to his app. But most people may not have ever heard of tapping before. But because it came from Tony Robbins, and then you get to experience it, and I was like, oh, I like this tapping thing. How do I get the app? Same thing for you. They understand what a cocktail is, but they've never seen it in a package. And they'll judge it to say, it can't be as good if it's in a package compared to just making it. But then they try it because it was recommended. And people will try it just because it's part of the program, just because it's part of the event. They'll try it. even if they don't expect it to be good, most people probably will have low expectations for a drink that came from.
That can be good. That can be good because they will be positively surprised.
Exactly. Yeah. They'll be like, okay, whatever. It can't be that good, but sure, it's part of the event. I'll show up with my drink. Let's go. Mixer, online, through Zoom. And then they try it. They're like, whoa, what is this? Who makes this again? Drink it fresh? What is that? And then they end up going to your website, buying your thing, wanting to have you at their event. I think just thinking that way, instead of trying to go mass consumer, to think about like who's the partner that can take you to the consumer, that you're making money in the process. Not thinking retail, but thinking a customer that you can go sell. So the event business is the one that comes to mind immediately, because that's just, they're struggling right now to get, like, they're trying to get engagement. How do we get engagement when people are just at their home? How do we keep our networking parties going when there's no face-to-face? And they're trying to make their Zoom rooms more effective, efficient, interactive, trying to make those connections happen. And you've got a product that can help them do it really easily.
Yeah, like you say, it's a way to both sell and to market, because people will discover the product and to taste it. So it's also a way to do nice marketing and get people to know the product.
It's like, how did Zoom become the default place everybody's going to for events? Some people did it, and then that just became the best practice.
Yeah.
Same thing can happen with you. Like, nobody's doing mixers or networking. They have like breakout rooms and sessions, but nobody's giving people something to enjoy. You could be the default place that everybody goes to that says, hey, you have to have a networking mixer, just like you normally would at your offline events. And here's the product to actually help you do it. They just don't know it exists. Because if people said, okay, everybody go and make your own drink and then come back, and it's just, nobody's going to do it. But here's this cool package. Pour some. It's just water, right? Pour water on top of it, mix it, and put some ice. Yeah, great. Everybody's got water and ice. I mean, it's so much easier.
Yeah, clearly.
So it's starting to make those. It's starting to make those kind of, like, look at any event that's coming up, any online events that are happening, across any space. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be personal development. It could be anything. Any of the events that would have normally been at the convention centers in every city around America, and then reach out to the organizers and say, I've got this cool product that could really make your event stand out.
Great. And when the situation will be better on, do you have, how will you see it to best market our product, to get visibility when let's hopefully the COVID will be over?
Yeah, I think you now have two business models, two business lines. You could still go back and do the restaurants. There's nothing wrong with doing the restaurants. Sure. Like, that's good. That's good business. That's good money. You're still solving a problem around utility. Like, it's just easier for them. They don't need to hire staff to now know how to mix cocktails. They can keep just their regular servers and just, here, mix. There you go. Great quality drink. So you keep that business going and constantly looking for anything that's still remote. Like, a lot of people who are doing these events in the future, they're looking to do hybrid models. So I'm speaking at an event. I'm speaking at events all the time. Like, I'm doing one this weekend based out of South Africa, and I'm keynoting in from Toronto, and everybody will have like 3,000 people in there from around the world. And there's no like mixer or part of it. I'm speaking at an event in October, and he's planning on having, depending on how the whole vaccination rollout goes, they're still unknown right at this point, but he's planning to have 300-400 people in person and 1,000 people online. A lot of the people who are hosting these events are recognizing, holy cow, we can make so much more money and reach so many more people with online that they don't want to just abandon it. So once COVID's done, people will go back to still having in-person events, but a lot of people, like Tony Robbins, built his studio to have a live component for people to be there and still broadcast online.
Yeah, and can touch way more people.
Well, but they still need the, okay, well, we have our offline event mixers. Online, you guys get a mixer too. So I don't think it's going to go away. I think right now it's a big need because everybody's trying to figure out how do I make my event stand out. Going forward, I think that's still going to be a component. I don't think people are going to all just go back to offline and stop going to Zoom rooms. Like people will still keep that as part of their business model because they're making a ton of money and having a big impact and reach doing it. So I don't think the business model, I don't think this is just a COVID strategy. I think once we're through it, it's still going to be an important business line for you. Probably even bigger than the restaurants.
And probably, like you say, it will be to develop another range of product which will be not frozen to be able to cover more customers, but to find a way to make it as tasteful as it is right now, for at least a very qualitative product, because now it's probably like it's really, really good. We received awards of the taste out of it, but also because we use fresh ingredients and we're the only product which is really made of fresh ingredients. So we need to not lose this identity and this quality of the product, but try to be creative and find a non-frozen solution will be at least very good.
As close as you can get.
Yeah.
There can be, like, if it's 85% quality of the fresh one or the frozen one, release it. Yeah. Because people are going to have zero expectations. They're going to look at the package and be like, this is not going to taste very good. Do you know Howard Schultz? Actually, he's right here. This guy, Howard Schultz. He started Starbucks.
Yeah.
And when Starbucks, for years, people were telling Howard Schultz, you have to get into single serving instant coffee.
Yeah.
And he said, there's no way. Coffee has to be ground fresh. You can't do single serving. You can't do instant coffee. Starbucks is about quality. We can't do it.
Yeah.
And for years, people were telling me, he's like, no, Starbucks, this is our quality. This is everybody else. We're not doing instant coffee. And then somebody on his team brought him to a facility and made him try a fresh cup of coffee. And he said, this is really good. What is it? And he said, it's instant coffee. It's like, no, I don't believe it. And he showed them that they made an instant coffee that tasted as good. And that became their, I think it's called Via. Anyway, they sell it in their stores now, the instant coffee. So that becomes a challenge. Now, he had distribution and he had tons of stores to sell this through, right?
Yeah.
But that becomes a game where there's the restaurant quality, which is 100% quality, and that's so good that you can't even tell it is from a package. And then there's a consumer version of it, which is even 85% quality, which is still amazing. Like, you don't want to put something out that they tasted like, oh, okay, yeah, it's pretty nasty, but whatever, we're here, right? You don't want to get that far down. But being able to have something that you could package that you can send Tony 10,000 packages of it, and then he sends it out in his next Date with Destiny box.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, you got to figure out the formula for it, but it's not that different than what you're doing. You've already figured out packaging. You've already figured out distribution. You've already figured out a lot of the stuff. Now it's just the fresh ingredients. How do you dry it or get a powdered version or something so that I can consume it and still feel like this is amazing.
And do you advise to have two different brands because it will be not fully fresh in terms of the other version?
You could. I don't think the fresh part, like, you can rebrand the whole company. I don't know that the brand is even the thing. Like restaurants, why are restaurants hiring you? Because it tastes like restaurant quality and it saves them a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's not that it's fresh, it's that it tastes really good and you're cutting their costs, or they're cutting their having to have expertise on house. It's utility. They don't care what the brand is. Like, you could call the company XYZ company. As long as you're doing the job, they don't care. It's like all you have to do is go to a restaurant, say, try this. They taste it. This is amazing. And here's how much it costs to get it sent to you. How many do you want? Like, they don't really care about what you call the company or what the branding is, right? For the consumer side, it matters more. If the fresh isn't the thing, then yeah, I would make it something more around fun.
Yeah.
It's the fun experience that I get from home. I like that I still have to add water and ice. They had, I don't know if you know the story behind the cake. What's the cake company where they had like the cake in a box? they send you like a packaged cake, like it's just powder, and then
Okay.
you mix in the egg and you put in milk and water, and then
which didn't work at the beginning because they had to only add an egg, right?
yeah, well they could have replaced the egg. They didn't need the egg.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could have put the egg in the package.
Yeah.
It wasn't a question of freshness or anything. It was just that they wanted people to feel like they were actually doing something. So adding the egg makes it feel like you're actually baking.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So you're making it super easy, but I'm still doing something. I'm still putting ice in. I'm still putting water in, and I'm making a drink. If you have the little umbrellas or whatever that can go in the drink too, with a special little straw or whatever that can be part of the package, it makes me feel like I'm making a drink. Mixology is huge right now. The number of people who are going and making their own drinks and turning it into content is huge right now. So people want to be a part of it without having to learn all of the, like, oh my God, I don't have a fresh lime. I don't want to go to the store to get a stupid lime. Or I don't have that right ingredient, but they still get to kind of participate and be a part of it.
Yeah. It's a good comparison.
Yeah, that's what and I think that business lasts way beyond COVID. I'm just thinking like speaking events and stuff, but I think anytime, any kind of networking event where they have mixers, which is all kinds of so many industry trade shows, events happening constantly. Like if you look at what city are you in?
Brussels.
Oh, Brussels.
Belgium. Yeah.
Wait, so are most of your sales USA or Europe?
Oh, we only sell in Europe right now.
Got it. But you could sell to the US. It's just the shipping.
Yeah, it's just the shipping. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Okay. So if you looked at, in Brussels, which is beautiful, by the way, there's so much green. The amount of green. When I went to Brussels, like everything is so green. There's so much green. I loved it. If you look at the Brussels Convention Center, every city has a major convention center. You look at the events that are coming through. Now it's like zero, but who used to be there? Every weekend there'd be another big event, and events that you wouldn't even know who they were. The dog show, the green living show, the automotive show, and they're like fill up with tons of people. All of those places, like what are they doing right now? How are they trying to run their events? What are they struggling with right now? And you could be the secret weapon to have more. What they care about is people having a great experience. Yes, it's there to learn from the experts, but they want people to have a great experience so that they come back for the next event and tell their friends for the next event. So it doesn't have to be personal development. It could be the home show. It could be the renovation show, the green living show, like all of the different shows that are happening. And then you're the secret weapon to give them a much better experience.
Yeah.
And those people are not that hard to get a hold of. You just have to find the people who are organizing the shows.
Yeah.
It's not the speakers who are coming to the shows. They're getting paid by the shows, but you look at who's behind the shows and message them and say, hey, we've got this product. We'd like to include it in your next event.
Yeah. Great.
And you have to get to the US too. Like you got to figure out that model because the US is just a giant market.
Indeed. Yeah. That would be a next amazing step.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you want to ship it all from where you are in Brussels, or you need to have your own co-packer in the U.S., kind of making things work for you.
Both is possible with our model. We can have a plant in the U.S. or in Mexico to
you have somebody co-pack. Like it's your brand, and you give them the formula, and they create and ship it out for you. Because I'm Canadian, so but it's the same thing. Like if you want to blow up in Canada, you have to sell to the U.S.
Okay.
Americans are spending
in the US.
Yeah, like for events and all that, Americans are spending the most.
Yeah.
So it might be harder to convince somebody in Italy. Like I'm half Italian. My mom here, she was born in Italy. It might be harder to convince an Italian event to do it. It's still possible. It's still doable, but the American market is just a lot hungrier and typically a lot more aggressive on new ideas like this. So you gotta figure out the formula so that you can ship it not frozen and figure out how to sell it into the US market. That might be stage 2 or stage 3 or whatever, but that's how you blow up the company.
Great.
Cool, man.
Thanks a lot for all these advices.
Good luck. If people want to follow your journey, where are they going?
drinkitfresh.com. And then they can find out what Facebook or Instagram, they will find everything out.
I love it. Sending you lots of love. Cheering you on, man. Good luck.
If you want to see another awesome one-on-one I did with an entrepreneur just like you, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
You could solve world peace. If you're doing like little bits of 100 big ideas, nothing happens. If I'm you, I'm not selling a single course, not in 2021.